Welcome back to episode 86 of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman.
What's up, Will?
So, you want to tell everybody what we did yesterday?
Dude, a whole lot of nothing, dude. What are you talking about? No, I'm
Dude,
just kidding.
we were talking about a lot of things until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't sound gay at all.
No,
No, it was totally
uh,
like, dude, we entered the rabbit hole, dude. What started that rabbit hole? I forgot.
I don't remember. Oh, well, we were talking about tokenomics.
Yeah,
That
that's right.
was like maybe 50 to 60% of the conversation yesterday.
Well, yeah, that's definitely our main focus as far as like from a project perspective. Like we're still trying to figure out, a practical tokenomic model that satisfies all
Mhm.
parties involved in the ecosystem. So
Yeah.
that's not easy to do, right? This is like trying to, I don't know,
But
trying
you know
to
what? I think we have
just trying to understand the human condition in a
the
way. It's fucking
psychology.
tough. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
I
not
think
easy.
I think we have a good foundation for our tokenomics, right? There's like a little bit more details that we have to do, like how much should creators and buyers or collectors get, right?
Yeah, that's the easy part. I feel like is we definitely want to reward like the early supporters because
Yeah,
without them, we would have never got to the point where we could eventually launch these tokens, right?
yeah, that's right.
Because without the people who trusted us for like the last 8 months, I think we've been live for like 8 months, right? Trusted us to purchase these metas without them actually being legitimate blockchain assets, but they bought them anyways just because they either believed in the vision or they just really like the product. I think the majority of it is they just like metas, dude. They're
Yeah,
like legitimate landowners who like we identified their problem, right? Like
yeah,
they don't have anything to deploy on their lands. They're like, fuck.
yeah. I
But
agree.
that's
I think
so
I think it's a combination that they like the metas, but also that we solved the problem for them.
yeah.
There
And there's
was
probably like genuine supporters too who feel like, it's currently the only way to support MetaZone's development is to buy metas currently.
Yeah, and really that's really our focus right now is to convert everything to NFTs and get this token out there just because just like we prepare for Decentraland's launch, we feel like there's a sort of an economic launch for NFTs in the next, 6 to 12 months.
Yeah,
And
as far as like mass awareness is definitely like it's like fucking Lord of the Rings, dude. Like that. You tell me you watched that movie,
well,
right? The
yeah,
fucking
I've seen it.
the Eye of Sauron, dude. It's like I feel like
Yeah.
that fucking eye is like slowly starting to like look at NFTs, dude. It's been like on the DeFi for like the last year.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the collective consciousness is shifting a little bit. I don't know what's driving it. That, I mean, I guess it's art. The art space is kind of like the big, headline grabber
Yeah, I
currently.
guess. Yeah, I suppose.
It's got to be right. That's the only thing.
Yeah, there's a lot more use cases to NFTs than art. But art,
Because
I think, is the
NFTs aren't
most.
new, dude.
Yeah, art is the
They,
most obvious application of NFTs. I think the second most obvious is
yeah,
games, and then
games.
and then least obvious is like insurance premiums for Nexus Mutual, right?
Yeah, and all this other kooky shit people are coming up with, like
Yeah,
social tokens and stuff like that.
and then
Like,
NFTing like
just,
physical objects too. Like
yeah,
that's not
that too.
easy. That's not an easy thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
how do you do that?
Also, I heard somebody NFT their body, meaning like you could buy a token that represents my upper arm, and then you get to choose what I get tattooed on it because you're the owner of my
Wow,
arm.
wow,
Isn't that wild, dude?
that is wild.
That's a genius way for somebody to like get some coke money.
Yeah,
That's about it. Probably sounds like some degenerate idea. It's like, dude, I'm super high.
and
I
probably
gotta get more
like
drugs, bro.
probably something stupid gets put on the arm too.
Yeah, like a big flaccid wiener. It's possible.
Well,
Why not,
that's
dude?
a classic troll move, right? So I would
If I
expect
paid
that.
like $1,000 to get your arm space, I would put like something really stupid on it. Why would you like?
Yeah,
It's like, dude, I want like the most beautiful art piece on your body. Like, fuck that, dude. I want you to
yeah,
like suffer. You
right,
know
right,
what I
right.
mean? But so yeah, NFTs are kooky, kind of wonky, kind of wild, but they're also super. They're starting to enter like this awareness phase, so people are starting to believe, just like Neo.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, so the main point here is we want to be part of that. And I mean, dude, I promise you guys, we're doing everything that we can because there's so many distractions out in the real world. Like for example, let's talk about one of those distractions.
Okay.
So let me
Which one?
minimize. Oh, hold on. Let me minimize the screen here so I can access this. There we go. Right here. So this came
Oh
into view
God.
today. It says Texas officials warn of brain-eating amoeba in the tap water near Houston. So I was
Yep.
like, I was in the middle of a headache when I was reading this. I was like, oh shit, what the hell
Yeah,
is
and I've
this?
had like chronic headaches for like the last few weeks.
Yeah,
Like, and I hear this. This is obviously in our locale.
yeah.
This
And then
is like,
so I look into it, and apparently some of the symptoms are headaches, and then other symptoms are like confusion and nausea, and I think that's it. And so I was like, oh
yeah, dude.
damn,
You can imagine if something's eating away at your brain, like there's got to be like massive symptomatic repercussions to that. Like, depending on how much brain has been eaten, right?
yeah, yeah,
It
right,
starts eating away at like some region of your brain that, like, I don't know, controls your emotions or something. Like, I don't know, where you just become like a crying woman.
right. A crying
It's like,
woman.
whoa, why am I so emotional?
Yeah.
No offense to women, it's just, it's the truth, girls. You know it. But yeah, man, like, this is scary, dude. It's
Yeah.
another fucking thing like I have to worry about, and I already have too much shit to worry about. But more than likely, my current headaches is from something else.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. It totally fit, 2020, and it's not like this is not a national news or anything like that, but it's sort of funny. These are the type of headlines that are interesting with everything going on in 2020. So,
True.
but not, and then on top of that, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Kucoin got hacked. This guy stole over $150 million worth of crypto and sent them all to his account. And now I think he was doing some dumb stuff like
Hold on a
using.
second. Scroll back up. It says heist on that address.
Yeah, so they blacklisted this address. So
Who's
now
they? Like me?
Etherscan and so all the exchanges are collaborating with each other, and they're
Uh-huh.
saying, all right, don't accept coins or freeze coins if they move it into your wallet or whatever.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so this is their way to kind of,
Yeah. To
you know,
combat these type of bad actors. I
exactly.
wonder if this has anything to do with like Ethereum though, like the Ethereum. I don't know.
Yeah, it does has something to do because they changed the address to
Uh huh.
fake phishing.
Okay. So like, there's somebody pulled a lever within the Ethereum like organization, whatever community actor who's like responsible for like security.
Yeah,
Because you'd assume like such a massive entity like the Ethereum community, this is going to be a regular problem.
yeah,
I mean, so yeah, that's interesting that it's labeled as a heist, and so there's like some, you know, third party security protocol in place for events like this. I didn't know that.
yeah. This happens pretty commonly that they do this.
Cool.
Um,
Well, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but just a couple of lessons here. Just one, don't keep your money on exchanges because this shit happens all the fucking time.
yeah. It is very,
But
very common, man. And dude,
yeah,
150
easy
million,
targets, dude.
yeah, $150 million just like that just disappeared, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. That's sort of amazing, but scary at the same time.
Okay, so my next comment was going to be like, it's interesting that this was such a big news headliner and it had no impact on the price of like general crypto space like Bitcoin, Ether. Nothing sold off.
Yeah,
Usually, like back in the day when shit like this happened, even smaller quantities that were stolen,
yeah.
you know,
You could
the
see it in the
whole market
charts.
would fucking tank. Like,
Yeah,
it's like a huge event. I don't know if it's because like they caught this in time to where he wasn't able to liquidate, so didn't have a price impact, or what?
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
maybe the market's maturing to the point where like, you know what, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he wasn't able to dump, so that's what happened.
Yeah, I think that's the more likely explanation. So that's pretty interesting.
You know, I was thinking about an idea where, what if this guy with 150 million dollars decides to airdrop all this money to all the Ethereum addresses that were active within the last 2 years or whatever? That would
Like some
be
kind of
interesting,
Robin
right?
Hood act.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah.
Because if he sends this to, like, let's say all 150 million to a different address, well, that address is now a heist address, right? And so,
Mm.
but if he decides to send it to everybody, then if every single address is a heist address, nothing is a
Like,
heist address, right?
so what is it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
If you
then,
receive funds from this guy, it's like
yeah,
your account gets locked basically
it doesn't necessarily get locked; it just gets blacklisted. Like, you become a
from.
suspect.
Yeah, yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you
Okay.
move, let's say you move, your address is blacklisted, and then you go into Coinbase, like that right there gives you away, right?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. More than likely, he's not going to do that though.
No, no, definitely not. But
But
think
it is
about
an
it.
interesting thought.
Think about it, because if he decides to spread, $150 million, and he could send $1 million into one account that he owns, I mean that would be one way to kinda get away with it,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
right?
Yeah, kind of like the GTA or not GTA, the fucking Fast and the Furious approach. Remember that fucking
Yeah,
movie?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like they're getting away, they're little race cars, and then they drive into like a garage, and then like the doors open, and then like 100 race cars come out
That's
at
right.
the same time.
Yeah.
So the cops are like, "Oh my god, which one is the guys we're looking for?" You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's actually a fucking genius move, dude.
yeah.
So if you're watching this, hacker man, dude, I mean, not a bad idea.
I mean,
If
it
you want
would.
to get away with at least like $1 million, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's more than enough. I mean, just hack another one if you need another $1 million, right?
Yeah, and also like lucky 150 participants get $1 million also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
I think it would be interesting just to see how people react and what happens to the market, and like how it gets rectified, But
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's
yeah.
such a low probability, though.
Insanely low. Yeah, people don't think like that, dude. Get your hands on $150 million, dude. That's like
I mean, think
game
about it.
match.
But it's still nothing, though.
Yeah, he can't really claim it, right?
I mean, unless somebody's
Why
accepting.
can't he just take it to Uniswap though?
Well,
Like,
Uniswap is still connected to your Coinbase or whatever you do to go back to fiat, right? There's a link to it.
I see. Okay,
Yeah,
I guess so.
there's always a link to it. So I think there's like Tumblers or Tornado Cash or XMR, Monero. Like you could do
Yeah.
that, but then I don't think you could just swap Ocean token with Monero. Like I don't think that exists. So
You're
it's it
barking the wrong tree, my dude. I
yeah,
don't know.
it's a hard problem, man. But I don't know.
Yeah,
This might be just a flex more than anything. But damn.
yeah. Unfortunate for Kucoin though. Like, I haven't used their exchange in years, but I never was really too
Too happy
impressed
about.
by them. They were just it's like the same thing we're seeing with all these like Uniswap forks, which eventually we'll get into. Like I thought of Kucoin as like a fork of Binance. Basically, it's like the same, relatively same interface, same user experience. Only difference is like they like elevated the trading competitions even more than fucking Binance did. I remember
Yeah, yeah.
like they really went ham with those trading contests to kind of like siphon whatever liquidity they could into the market or
Right.
to their exchange. So yeah, it's not like I don't necessarily feel too bad for them. They're not like angels in the space. They're probably bad actors just like Binance is. It's just some greedy fucks.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
I hear you.
whatever, dude.
I hear you. And
You know.
plus I think most people's funds are safe anyway, so I don't think this really affects
Oh
anybody.
yeah, you got to think about that too. Wait,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Why do you say that?
Well, because I think it's insured to a certain extent. Now, if you own like several millions of dollars, I doubt that you're going to get 100% back. But those with less than that amount, you're pretty much covered 100%.
Okay, well then I do feel bad for those people though. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate. But
Yeah.
yeah, like again, hard lesson, dude. This is the only way we learn lessons in this space is like the hard way.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta take fat losses like this and never make these mistakes. Like, take your money off exchanges. And I say that, and I have like majority of mine on the exchange too. So you're not alone.
Yeah.
I obviously don't. I've never been hacked yet, so I haven't learned my lesson. You know.
Right. Right.
But I have been rug pulled. I've been exit scammed, so like I'm much more cautious in that regard. You know, I've learned those hard lessons. You know.
Yeah, that just means you have to
I've
do research harder, right?
Exactly, and I've lived through a bear market, and I've been dumped on by whales. You know, so next time I'm gonna utilize that lesson, and like, you know, dump on the noobs of the next cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how you learn. You live and learn, dude. Simple as that.
All right. So our main topic today is discussing Honeyswap and the Honey token itself. So let's take a look at
how
this.
did we get clued into this? Somebody on our Discord was talking about this. They're literally that's how I first heard about it.
Yeah. It was Blackstar. Blackstar.
That's right, Blackstar. If you're watching this, I think it was Blackstar.
Yeah. Well, so Blackstar had mentioned it. I think I had seen it before. Maybe it was mentioned by Chico Crypto in the past or something. But what's interesting about Honey is that they're using xDAI as their sidechain foundation to do sort of like a Uniswap on the sidechain. And so we took a look at it, and I think when we looked at it, it was like $700, and now it's like 2x. So it's at $1,400.
In like 3 or 4 days, right? Something like that.
Yeah. So the total token supply right now, and I'll show you, is on Blockstack. It's 24,000.
Yeah, not much, dude.
Yeah, 24,379 tokens. So yeah, going back. So right now it's at 1,400 and change.
So we're looking at roughly what, like a 35 million-ish market cap, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is growing day, dude.
Yeah, this
look
is
at
like
that chart, man. It's like a slow creeper. It just does not want to go down.
Yeah, it's a linear slope.
At some point, this thing just like takes off like a motherfucking, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to say rocket because that's overused, but that's what it looks like. It's priming for, you know. But
it's already done a 10x.
More than that, dude. Okay, well, let's call it a 10x.
Just a 10x. Simple. Yeah, make it easier. It's already done a 10x. So if it does another 10x, we're looking at, I mean, a pretty significant run up.
But so what do you think is driving up this price? Just pure speculation, right?
Let's take a look at some of the top pairs here. So Honey wrapped xDAI. We have 1 million in liquidity, and the volume has 1.7 million. And the last, damn. So wait a minute. Okay, so the last 7 days is 5 million, or almost 6 million.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, think about this, dude. Volume in 7 days, or actually, volume in 24 hours has been 1.7 million, but the fees in that same time frame has been $5,000.
Can you do that simple math?
Yes. So we can do.
For those of you interested, and in case you don't know, like this is kind of like it on Uniswap. This is, I think, one of the main incentives to be a Uniswap liquidity provider, right? Is to collect these fees.
It's 0.2%. Actually, 0.3%. So it's the same fee structure as Uniswap.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that's the only fee. I think here. And I think the slippage is lower just because I think the liquidity provided is 50-50 to begin with. So I'm guessing the
So these fees, so this is interesting. These fees aren't extracted from gas fees at all. This is just an added fee per transaction.
Fee. Yes.
So yeah, there is no difference between this and Uniswap then, as far as like fee collection. Doesn't matter that this is a gasless protocol.
Correct.
I mean, there is gas, but like the gas fees are negligible because it's a second layer, protocol.
Exactly, and I think that's what makes the difference between this one and Uniswap.
What's the difference?
The gas fee.
Well, yeah, from a user experience perspective, like if you're a fucking trader, which I mean, you're starting to turn into one, right? Like you're spending a lot of time in front of charts.
Yeah.
You're trying to catch swings and stuff,
For sure.
You know, you're starting to make me look up like a freaking noob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I retired from that life a long time ago. The point is, you should be using a platform like this to execute your trades, right? Because you're losing a significant
That's right.
amount of money every time you execute a trade on Uniswap, like to gas.
That's correct.
So
Yeah. The only issue with that is, you know, are these tokens, first of all, they have to be ERC20s. So not all the tokens we're interested are ERC20s, right? They have their own blockchain.
that's true.
But having said that, do these tokens exist on the sidechain yet? And usually the answer is no. And the reason is because you have to develop a bridge token from, like, for example, xDAI made a bridge between DAI and xDAI, right? xDAI is the side token representation of DAI. And so if you wanted mana on the side chain, you would have to convert it to X mana.
Really?
Yeah.
So how come Uniswap's not X Uni? You know?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, I see X Moon, so that supports that. I don't. Is it Moon that Reddit token?
That's the Reddit token, yes.
Okay, interesting.
Okay,
so this is a Uniswap honey pair. 15 million liquidity, dude. Peanuts.
Yeah.
I mean, if you make the comparables to Uniswap, like it's not even close. I think there's more than $2 billion staked in liquidity on Uniswap. In comparison to this, which is like they're barely cracking $1 million, dude. It's like insane. It's night and day.
Right.
But again, that doesn't take away from like the speculative value of this platform, right? It's just it solves one of the main issues that Uniswap currently fails to address, which is fees.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So here's the thing. So Honey is an xDAI. It's a sidechain token, right? There is no Honey on the mainnet. And so
that's correct. That's why it's not on CoinGecko, right?
Correct. Well, that's not the reason why it's not on CoinGecko. It's the reason why it's not on Uniswap.
That's right. You can't go to Uniswap to get Honey. You got to go through this.
Correct.
Honeyswap protocol.
Yeah.
To get Honey.
So that means there are tokens that exist on the sidechain that don't have an X component to it because it's only on the sidechain. So even then, if you wanted to move it to the main chain for whatever reason that is, then you would have to build that bridge anyways. And so in the case for mana, then you would have X mana, just like you have xDAI, because DAI is on the mainnet, and so is mana.
Mm-hmm. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
This is like some mind-blowing shit.
So,
so Honey is 100% not Ethereum ERC20 asset, right? It's an xDAI asset.
Well, it is an ERC20. All xDAI assets are ERC20s.
Okay.
Because you're using the same Ethereum address as your mainnet Ethereum address. It's just on a different network.
It's just on a different network.
Yeah. So, and let's try to provide an example here. So let's connect wallet, MetaMask. We're going to sign this transaction. We're going to connect. And now it says wrong network. Please connect to the appropriate Ethereum network. So
yeah, because you're on the... Okay.
So let's do this. So now let's go into...
what the fuck? Whacked token?
Yeah, I got that whacked airdrop.
Really?
Yeah. But that was from you remember who that was?
Mm-mm.
That was McAfee, dude. Remember he started the whack token? Yeah.
Shit. That must have skated by, dude. I didn't pay attention to that one.
Yeah. All right. So xDAI chain, here we go.
So you had, and for those of y'all watching, that's not like going to be there if you haven't done this, right? You had to do some manual process to do that.
That's correct. So, for example, you have to go into your networks list here, and you see mainnet, Ropsten, Coven, Rinkeby, And you see all
these
of them
should
here.
be like standard networks that
Yeah,
everybody's connected to, right?
correct. They're already in there.
Okay.
So you have to create a new one called xDAI chain. So you have to click on custom RPC, get the network name, get the RPC URL, which is dai.poa.network.
Yeah, go ahead and show everybody just in case they want to do this.
Yeah. So this one would be xDAI chain, and then you don't need to type in the symbols here. And so as soon as you type in this network RPC URL, then you hit save, and then all of a sudden it's part of the list, and then you just select this to move into that network, and then now you're in that network.
Badass.
So
you're in.
So now I'm in, and now
You're
I
officially
can
connected to Honeyswap.
yes. So
Okay.
now I can move. I think let's see if I have to get WETH or xDAI. So assume I had xDAI, right? Let's say $1,000 worth of xDAI. Actually, we can just type it in here. $1,000 worth of xDAI gives me 0.71 of honey, and it says insufficient funds, and the price is $13.92. And then the most interesting part about this is that the price impact is 0.17%, which is nothing. And then 3 xDAI is provided as liquidity fee. So that's 0.3%.
$3.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. Jeebus. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't make that connection. Like yesterday, I was struggling to find like the practical reason for people to want to stake and become liquidity providers on this platform as opposed to Uniswap, because
Yeah.
I was under the assumption that the fee or that 0.3% LP fee was being taken from the gas fees, I thought.
Oh,
But
I see.
I was incorrect in that assessment.
Yeah.
It's just like an added fee for the platform that they take on every trade. So
Yeah, which gets funneled into the liquidity.
yeah, I mean, this is a fork of Uniswap. So whatever automated market maker Uniswap uses, Honeyswap uses the exact same one, right?
That's correct.
So it operates under the exact same like mechanical architecture, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Like,
Yeah, I wish I could show you the actual transaction taking place because it happens in under 7 seconds and almost the zero gas fees. It's like 0.0002 of an xDAI, which is like dust. It's like 0.2% of a penny.
hold on, you're cutting out a little bit,
Okay.
a little laggy.
Yeah. So, apologies. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, a little better.
Okay. So what I was saying is, I wish I could actually show the transaction because if I executed it, you would see this done in like 7 seconds, versus Uniswap where it takes longer. It could take anywhere between 5 or 10 minutes, and then on top of that, you're paying between $3 to $15 in gas fees, and in Honeyswap's scenario, because it's on xDAI, it's like
Dude, at one point I was paying like $100.
$100.
Yeah, like during the peak of that DeFi like ridiculousness, like right before that little bubble popped,
Yeah.
I was paying close to like $100 per trade, dude. It was insane.
Wow, dude.
Like, and that's the thing that people need to kind of like recognize as far as like, I mean, we can get into xDAI, like this shit doesn't scale, man. Like as cool as DeFi is, as cool as NFTs are gonna be, as cool as everything that's being built on Ethereum is, this is not some sustainable shit like at all. And like according to everything we've looked at, ETH 2.0 is not on the horizon anytime soon. I don't think.
Yeah.
At least not in the like expected version people are hoping for. Like people are hoping ETH 2.0 rollout equals, all of our problems solved.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, even Vitalik himself said it. Like that's not going to be the case. And I think he also like to add on to that, he's like, I don't understand why more projects aren't integrating into layer 2.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's
he
right.
say that?
Yeah, he said that.
So he's like, what the fuck, guys? Why are you guys putting so much pressure on me, dude? Like, there's plenty of protocols out there.
Yeah, that work.
It's up to the projects and the devs to actually implement them.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And we're starting to see that with this is a perfect example, because this is a big need, dude. Because I'm used to freaking high activity trading, man. In 2017 on Binance, that's all I did all day long, dude. I accrued more than 4,000 trades in like a 6-month time span. It was insane.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much money I'd blow doing that today, like on Uniswap? Can't do it.
Yeah,
Not
I
doable.
want to show you this real quick because it's happening right now. Check
Oh
check this
no.
out. This is ETH.
Oh, ETH.
Yeah. Look at this. So it broke
Okay.
through this resistance line, right?
Maybe Vitalik just announced ETH 2.0 is coming. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
possible. But if you zoom out, so what does this mean, right? Look at this. The next resistance point is around 370 and change.
Oh, so you're saying, yeah, we broke a major resistance, so we
Yeah.
got a nice little run up coming.
Yeah. But this is a
Hell yeah, bro.
15-minute chart, so I don't think we're out of the woods here yet. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Cool. See what I'm talking about, dude? You're like way too tuned into these charts, dude. Like I would not have like paid attention to that at all. And you like had to just like stop everything,
Stop it.
boys and girls. It's like
Yeah.
it's like resistance has been broken on the 15-minute time scale.
Yeah.
You're like super clued into these charts, dude. I'm impressed, dude.
Yeah, man, I
You know
have
what I
to
mean?
like keep an eye on this because it's sort of important.
It's sort of like it's kind of like your livelihood at the moment, right?
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Like, let's be 100% honest and transparent, dude. Like, this is the life we're living right
Yeah.
now. As I said earlier in this podcast, like, support of MetaZone team was 100% based on meta sales. So that was kind of like what sustained us for, I don't know, a few months.
Right.
But that has slowed down significantly because of this problem we're talking about right now. A lot of it had to do with these ridiculous gas fees. Nobody wants to buy metas
That's
if they're going
correct.
to blow
Yeah.
$100 a pop. So that had a huge impact on our business,
Yep.
our livelihood. So now we have to look for exterior, funding mechanisms. So
Yeah.
the most obvious one is how day trading.
Right. Right. Yeah. I
So how's
mean,
that going for you so far, dude?
oh, it's pretty good. Actually, it's sort of like we go back to 2016 and you experienced this where I think we're seeing a lot of things, especially in the NFT space, kind of early on, like catching fire, but
Uh-huh.
it's nothing compared to what happened in 2017, right? And so
Yeah, we're not there yet.
right now to day trade, it's actually easier at this time than it was before 2016 because everything was a bear market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back to 2018, like everything was going down. So to day trade that,
Yeah.
you're like you're up against like a, a hard place, right? Just to figure out like where everything is going to go down, and it's just too dangerous. But if everything's bullish, it's much easier, right? You can take bigger risks because the trend is up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When things are bullish, there's less
It's like
likely
look
to
at this.
encounter like.
If you had gotten in at any point here, you'd be in the positive, right? And this is like just a couple of days, right? The
Yeah.
27th to the 24th,
Yeah.
right? So this is easy, right?
You should be logging like your trades. Are you doing that?
Um, technically, yeah, I am to a certain extent, but I should be doing better. I should be, more detailed
I,
with my logs.
I would do it just like some kind of little Excel spreadsheet, just so you know, and then you
Yeah,
can kind of like track, see like how much like your average percentages on every trade, yada yada yada.
yeah, for sure.
Nice little analytics and stuff. I think it'd be cool to look at.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
so yeah, the point here is like, there's a lot of movement going on, and I mean, I think we already established that we're in a bull market, and it's
at least
just
that's what we're all hoping.
yeah, at least yeah, at the very least.
I mean, yeah, I would say so. I think we're still it's a lot of it's contingent on what happens in the stock market, but I think we're gonna be okay, dude.
Yeah. Like and just for example, like this blue box, I put it here cuz I assumed it was going to go back down 5% and it reached not quite close to 5%, right? But yeah, man. Like this is what meme lines look like when they become true.
Yeah, exactly. When they become true, but they don't always
They don't
become true.
always. That's right.
I showed you plenty of examples of
Yeah,
that.
you did.
Like Uniswap had like I think like the perfect bullpen in at one point, and it completely failed.
Yeah.
So I've lost my faith in fucking meme lines and stuff.
You know,
I don't.
I agree 100% with that. I think I use meme lines to, because think about it. Look at what this looks like without all the lines. Like, what does that? What does that show you, dude? It
What
doesn't
is that?
really.
What?
What does it show you? It doesn't really show.
Oh,
It doesn't really show anything, right? Like, it's not.
yeah.
It's not exactly.
Until you play. Until you play. Okay, it's hard to talk because you're lagging. But until you play connect the dots, basically, that's what you're saying.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Because then you turn it on. It's like, okay, I see what's happening.
See, but look at your dude. Even your meme lines don't make. Oh, I guess they make a little bit of sense. Like, okay, so I see your two low points connecting. I guess
Yeah.
yeah, there and there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, because what happens is, as I was drawing them, let's say I only had up to this point here, right? Let's say this was the timeline right here. Then
mhm,
I would draw a meme line right here,
correct.
and then I would
So you
draw,
probably
this one right here. And so let's zoom back into this. I was like, okay, I'm seeing this is going back down, right? It's touched this line twice. All right, I'm gonna go back in maybe here to, because I'm risky, and then it goes up. Or you go in here because it breaks that resistance line, and then you just
yeah.
you write it out and see what happens, right? So, but the point here is
Yeah.
as soon as you get more information, you take that meme line and then you move it to where the next spot is, and then you keep it going.
Yeah, see, this is why I want you to track your trades, just so we can have like a win loss
A
percentage and understand
competition,
whether or not your meme lines are competent. You know what I mean?
yeah, I should be doing
Because
that.
this has been one of my dude. I ordered like so many TA books back in 2017, dude. I thought I was gonna become a TA god because I actually believed in this stuff back then, dude. Because I was watching a lot of people
Yeah,
make a lot of money
yeah.
with these meme lines and shit. They're all fucking making YouTube videos like, boys, let me pull up this meme line real quick.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh shit. Like,
Right.
dude, this is the most awesome meme line I've ever seen. Like,
But
look at
what
that
year was
bounce
that?
off of this moving average squiggly line. You know what I mean? Like,
What year was that though?
this is like the peak of the bull market.
Oh, okay.
2017,
Well then,
2018 cycle, you know?
I mean, everybody was making money in 2017.
Well, that's my point. My point is, everyone looked like a freaking guru genius. Like, they just came off freaking Warren Buffett's like private like trading seminar, like straight to crypto, like with like the most knowledge of how markets move and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
but the point is, it was really hard to look stupid back then, because
for sure.
everything was just exploding.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think meme lines. I don't think they're. I don't think they really represent anything other than humans communicating with each other with like an established language.
yeah,
That's all that it means. And the fact that it broke through this resistance line, I mean, what does it? I mean, what does that really mean? You know, that do you think a lot of people saw this and drew the same line and be like, okay, let's see what people decide to do right here, and if
yeah.
they,
I think a lot of people actually, well, not a lot of people, but there's a segment of people doing exactly these type of things,
mm-hmm,
and they're waiting for those moments to enter trades. That's why normally that's where the most volume kicks in, right? Whenever these meme lines are breached, because that's when people with actual money are starting to execute trades because
yeah,
now they have a little bit more confidence than they
dude,
did.
100%. Look at this volume right here.
Yeah, look at that fat green dick, dude. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, that's
All
the
that activity that's going on inside that triangle, that's like normie activity. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, nobody knows what's going on in there. And like the TA guys probably aren't fucking around. Maybe some of them are,
yeah.
but
No, I mean, I think if you're moving like 100K to 500K, these little 15-minute candles makes sense to be paying attention to.
Yeah, I guess.
But
But yeah, all I'm saying is, yeah, like this is what like a yeah, it's a clear breach. So
yeah,
yeah, people are buying,
yeah,
which yeah, I don't know, self fulfilling. Dude, this is 5 minutes ago. I thought it was 15 minutes.
oh yeah, because
Holy.
I like looking at the 1 minute chart just to see exactly what's happening.
Uh huh.
That's pretty interesting, though.
What does this tell you, dude?
It's like accumulation here for per
For
minute.
like 5 minutes,
Yeah,
ten
for five
minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
I don't know. That's what it's telling me. It tells me like three major orders just came through, like
Yeah,
within the
yeah.
hour, basically. Like, you know,
Yeah, but it's
uh,
funny. You look at it from like a 15-minute standpoint. It's like boom, explosion, but
yeah.
it didn't really explode. It's just what it looks like at 15-minute intervals.
How's this look on the hour chart? I mean, it's not
That's
bad.
pretty. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
It's a clear breakout.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, keep doing what you're doing, dude. I mean, you definitely you think you have like the personality for this, though, for sure.
I have the ability to concentrate for sure.
Yeah, yeah, dude. This is tough. Like, and it's the idea is you want to get to the point where you have like multiple screens and you have like 8 to 10, you know,
Yeah.
orders going on at the same time, and you're monitoring all of them. You're in and out. So my point is, you can't do that on Uniswap, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't. And if
You
if I had the ability to use Uniswap without the gas fees, I'd be on it all day.
so
And
is this
therefore,
it?
and this is
So
yeah, honey.
final. Okay, but before we get into One Hive, just let's do our own little final. I don't know what word to use. Our own final like stamp of approval or not on Honeyswap. I mean, let's just briefly go over the main points, selling
Okay.
points, I guess. It's a fork of Uniswap, right? Similar to what we saw from all the yield farming craziness from like things like sushi, things like yam, things like what else? I don't know. You know,
Wi-Fi?
I don't know. Is that a fork of Uniswap? I don't think so.
No, no, it's not. No, it's not.
No. So what
Well,
else fork Uniswap is what I'm saying.
there's one called Falcon Swap. I sent that to you
Okay.
earlier
Interesting.
today.
Okay. So then there's competitors then.
Oh yeah, there's competitors. I mean, anybody can fork Uniswap and put their own little spin, use their own little token, and I mean anybody can do that. It's just it's not going to be the same. Like Honeyswap is interesting because they're using xDAI, but
Is
Uniswap could
Falcon,
also
is
use.
Falcon Swap doing that too? XI?
They're using layer two, but they never mentioned which layer two they're using.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So that seems to be like there's a shift happening to, I mean, because like Uniswap Uniswap screwed up in a few ways. I mean, they're not really screw ups. Just Uniswap is a brilliant technology. Like it's huge. I think we were talking about this last night. We were trying to understand how liquidity, actually works on this protocol and
Mm-hmm.
how the automated market, algorithms work and all that shit. And yeah, after understanding it a little bit more, like I my own personal sentiment towards like this Uniswap technology, it's as big of a breakthrough as like Bitcoin is, you know,
Yeah.
as far as like liberating a large portion of our like need for intermediaries, just how Bitcoin eliminated that need. Now Uniswap's taking that to the next level. They figured out how to automate a lot of things that weren't automated, prior to its existence. So
Yeah. I wonder if Uniswap was the first automated market maker.
I don't know. Like we got into that discussion too. We're like, what the hell happened to Kyber? What the hell happened to Bancor?
Yeah.
Like these were names I heard about in 2017
Yeah, I remember those.
they had the ambitions to be the Uniswap, but somehow Uniswap just shit on their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I know what it is. I think it's because they figured out a way how to onboard users as liquidity providers. Because I don't think Kyber and Bancor and all those people, they have no way for you to contribute your own assets to the
Mm-hmm.
protocol.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what Uniswap did that like kickstarted this whole DeFi craze. Like everybody's looking for the next thing to put their money into, right? So
So
that's what they
you're
did.
saying so you can't add your token to KyberSwap? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so. I don't think they require liquidity providers for their protocol to
Oh
operate.
yeah,
I'm not
you're right.
sure.
Yeah, I don't think they do either.
I mean, that's
But
otherwise we probably would have heard of that by now, right?
I would think so too. But I
Yeah.
figured you can't have an automated market maker without liquidity pools.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But the automated market maker algorithm is pioneered by Uniswap.
Oh, I
So
see what you're
whatever
saying.
technology Kyber and Bancor and all these people use,
Yeah. That makes
they
sense
have
too.
some other method to, swap tokens.
Yeah.
And yeah, in case you guys didn't know and you're like listening to this, we aren't like, well, me, I'm not the technical guy. So
Right.
I can't explain to you the technical things of every protocol, That's not my role. But yeah, if you're looking for technical knowledge, dude, there's another YouTube channel that away. I'd go over
right,
there.
right,
Or
right.
another podcast, whatever,
Yeah.
you know. But
Well,
shit, what was I talking about, dude?
I mean, we're talking about, Uniswap being the sort of
Yeah.
the setting the standard for automated market makers and then being the first to liquidity pools and
Yeah, ultimately I'm just trying to get like us to give like a final say on like whether or not Honeyswap has like a,
I
a firm space in this space, like a firm.
well, I think they do. I think Honeyswap using xDAI is really smart just because these gas fees really kill businesses,
Yeah, big
and
time.
and they're completely avoiding it by using xDAI.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is, what prevents Uniswap from adopting xDAI or any other sidechain? And then
Yeah,
at that point, why use Honeyswap? It?
that's right. That's why I used all the yield farming craze as an example, because that's exactly what Uniswap did. Like they created this brilliant technology, but they missed out on one little thing.
The token.
It's the token reward mechanism. Then like these yield farming vampire protocols, they kind of like filled that gap. They recognized Uniswap doesn't have a token for some reason to reward their LPs. So we'll just go ahead and fork their code, build this token, and we'll do it for them.
That's right.
Uniswap ultimately crushed these fucks, and they came out with their own token.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think it's obviously it's in their best interest just to crush any kind of competitive force that's going to come out there and like try and siphon any kind of network effect away from them, right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we're looking at with the honey swaps, the falcon swaps. Once again, these guys are forking their code, but they figured out another gap to fulfill, like
Mm-hmm.
scaling and fees and shit. So they're trying to do it again. So yeah, how long until Uniswap crushes these guys is the question.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Or
And
Uniswap? Did I say Honeyswap or Uniswap?
Honeyswap
Whatever.
or Uniswap
Uniswap.
crushing Honeyswap.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately, Vitalik was talking about Ethereum 2.0, I think recently, and that it's going to be launching like within the next couple of weeks or something.
Really?
And yeah,
I didn't see that.
so the other thing is that ZK rollups and optimistic rollups is another technical aspect that we need to look into. Just because
Okay.
I haven't looked into it, but I mean, so many people keep talking about it. And one of the things that even Vitalik said that if xDAI were to use ZK rollups or optimistic rollups, then he would, 100% endorse xDAI in terms of like building a platform on top of it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Then we need to figure out what that is and why
Well,
wouldn't they do that then?
real quickly, let's just ZK made me zero knowledge rollups. So ZK rollups are one of the options being developed for layer 2 construction that increases scalability through mass transfer processing rolled into a single transaction.
Ah, okay.
Where Plasma creates one transaction per transfer, ZK rollups bundle hundreds of transfers into a single transaction.
Interesting.
And then here's a Medium article, Optimistic versus ZK rollups deep dive. So optimistic rollup is a promising technology for scaling general purpose smart contracts on Ethereum in the near term. If built relatively quickly, it can offer an easy way to migrate existing dApps and services with a reasonable degree of security, scalability trade-offs. This will be ETH 1.0 to keep up with growing demand. And ZK Rollups is more sophisticated technology. It can be used for token transfers and specialized applications today. However, it will take a little longer to implement a general purpose smart contracts, and even more research work is required to effectively wrap the Ethereum virtual machine in zero knowledge proofs. However, once ZK Rollups is fully developed, all existing Ethereum dApps and services will be able to smoothly migrate to it without much effort.
Wow. Fascinating.
So ZK Rollups will fix several fundamental issues with optimistic rollup. Eliminate a nasty tail risk, theft of funds from or via intricate yet viable attack vectors.
Mm-hmm.
Reduce withdrawal times from 1 to 2 weeks to a few minutes. This is withdrawal. Oh, so optimistic rollups had withdrawal times from 1 to 2 weeks? That's insane, dude. And then ZK Rollup enables fast transaction confirmations and exits in practically unlimited volumes. And then finally, introduce privacy by default.
Okay.
So having that kind of like a little bit of knowledge that helps us understand, what Ethereum 2.0 is going to look like.
Yeah. Okay. I need to see. I mean, again, this is the wait and see approach. Especially for us non-technical minded folk.
Yeah.
But there's a lot is riding on these scaling solutions, dude.
Yeah, it's not, cryptocurrency, smart contracts, all that's not going to be taken seriously by the masses until these fees are fixed.
100%.
Because otherwise, it's just cheaper to use centralized services, and that's the exact opposite result that we want.
So let's go back to Honeyswap as far as like from a tokenomics perspective. Let's do a comparable analysis. We're comparing Honeyswap currently, which we've roughly estimated. Okay, it tells you right here, 33 million market cap. So we know what this thing is what space this thing is competing against. It's competing against Uniswap, which is sitting roughly around 600 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your range
20x.
of like market potential, I guess. If you're looking at this from a speculative advantage, if you're trying to catch some kind of next platform to blow up, good luck, I'd say.
Yeah.
Obviously very risky, but I say that with the knowledge of knowing, like, I've seen way less useful, way less important things have way bigger run-ups than this potentially could have. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like I said, this actually has a legitimate short-term use case because all this fancy shit you were just reading is not applied yet. And we don't know. I don't care what Vitalik said, dude.
Yeah.
He's been saying this shit's going to happen for years.
Yeah.
I don't care what any of these Ethereum fucking devs say. Like, until it's hardwired into everything, it's easy to use, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Ultimately. So if that's the case, then this whatever protocols are vampiring the network effect from Uniswap and implementing already proven technology of xDAI, do with that information what you think you should do.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, it's the difference between vaporware and a product that's like actually built and you can use and touch and interact with. Yeah, and Honeyswap is there, right? Honeyswap, you can trade almost, some of the tokens that they've already supported. So the fact that it already exists is worth its weight in gold compared to, the future applications of Uniswap adopting xDAI or ZK rollups or anything that's going to allow it to scale.
100%. So, oh man, I was going to segue into something completely slipped.
Was it xDAI?
Oh yeah. I was going to say, just even if you're not like a speculator, if anything, it's not a bad idea to just to kind of like figure out how to go through this process to acquire some of these honey tokens just for the exercise of like figuring out how to use layer two, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's valuable in itself, like because there's going to be a lot of platforms that adopt this type of system, and the problem with that is there's going to be like some onboarding friction because like there's a couple more steps that the general user is going to have to go through.
Yeah, for sure.
But so it's not a bad idea to kind of familiarize yourself with it. So why not?
Yeah, I have a feeling that this switching networks is going to be commonplace. You just have to like be completely organized because the tokens that you own, they don't show up when you're on mainnet. And so if you have a bunch of tokens on the side chain, they're only there when you're on the correct network.
Yeah, that's right. So leading into that, what's funny about all of this is the honey token isn't even like, or wasn't originally intended to even be like, for this Uniswap clone. That's what we found out last night. This is where this is around 4 in the morning whenever we figured
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah.
Things started getting really fucking weird. Not, that's what I was telling like, dude, I think like we've gone too deep into the rabbit hole, dude. Like we've reached like the fringe
Yeah.
of like the crypto space. That's what I felt like when I started investigating. What the hell is One Hive? What the hell is the honey token? You know what I mean?
No, I totally agree. I think, oh man, I think I lost my place here. I wanted to show them one of the ways that you can get honey for free is by going into Bright ID. And so Bright ID, brightid.org, allows people to verify themselves as being human, not necessarily, this is not, what's it called? This is an verification application, right? That you download on your phone, and this allows you to prove that you're not a bot. And then once you're not a bot, then you can go and claim these tokens for honey. And so each
Why is that? I'm sorry to interrupt, but why is that so difficult to prove that you're not a bot? Just because, like,
well, if you come up with some scheme where you try to force mass awareness of whether you're a human or not, you can develop ways as a as a programmer, as an automation engineer, you can come up with ways to evade that detection. So, for example, like let's take, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good example where you try to prove with an application that you're an actual human. And one of the
yeah,
ways is through a CAPTCHA. And you show a bunch of
yeah.
pictures and the CAPTCHA. So those can be evaded by computers now. And
So
so,
that's the point. The point is, the computers are getting more and more capable and
that's right.
intelligent, I guess, to the point like our old methods of providing, human
Human
identification is
proof.
they're
Yeah,
becoming obsolete, right?
that's correct. And so what they
Oof.
do now is you download this application and then you join these meetups. And in these meetups, you share QR codes and you have to use voice or you have to use video. And you share these codes and you verify each other that you're human. And
Wow.
that's it. And then once you're human, then you can claim an airdrop on a weekly basis, I think, with Honey. And it's called a faucet.
Mm-hmm. But it's not even just, it doesn't end there either though. It's like this is, I think I could see this unique ID thing being like the beginning stages of some like ubiquitous like reputation system, meaning like all these connections that you make as far as verifications go, all it's doing is reinforcing your legitimacy as a human because there's like a score that's keeping track of all that through their platform.
Right.
When I saw that, I was like, wow. I hated it at first because I was like, man, here's another thing that's like it's scoring, you know, people based on how many like online interactions they make, similar to how like social media is like a negative reinforcing thing. Like how many how many fake relationships can you make on the internet? Like the more fake relationships you make, the better person you are, according to like internet social network economics, right?
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
oh god, here's another one of these. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to hate on that. It's just that's just the direction we're heading. So, but that's not even the weird thing. The weird thing is the actual One Hive. Uh, I don't even know what to call it. It's a community, right?
Yeah, it's a community, and I'm trying to look for the faucet links.
Yeah.
But let's go into One Hive. Okay, jumping into One Hive. They okay, where is it? Airdrop for Honeyswap early adopters, those who joined before October, like Uniclaim rewards. So people are proposing.
These are what you were just looking at was a list of proposals.
That's correct.
Okay.
And
So
one of
that's the
those,
first thing we saw too. Whenever we were starting investigating One Hive, we're like, okay, what the fuck's going on here? Why are people making proposals? So we go a little bit deeper.
yeah. And then if we go into buy Bright ID subscriptions for the faucet, so we go into this is the rabbit hole that we jumped into last night. See, it says we recently ended up without any Bright ID sponsors for the faucet. I'm requesting one Honey token to buy the equivalent amount in Bright ID subscriptions, currently at $2 each. So we'll have 130 sponsorships per month during the first year. The double and the second year, and the triple and the third, and so on. This should cover our needs for new users, and we are also helping to fund an open source project that is key for our infrastructure. The Honey will go into my wallet, and I'll swap it for xDAI and buy the sponsorships. So basically, they're using Forum to propose these things, and every time you propose something, I think you get Honey tokens, especially if it gets adopted.
Yeah. So already, like, so what's going on here is there's a Honey token, 24,000 of them currently in existence, that has literally no purpose to it in the beginning. It's a governance token, obviously, because people are staking their honeys to make these proposals. So the thing that's interesting is if you go through these proposals, you're going to find the guy who actually created Honeyswap somewhere in here, right? I think it's the core development payment guy. He's
That's
asking for
correct.
40 honeys.
Yeah.
And what does he say?
So going back to the forum, he says, "Is this guy named Will J. Griff?
Uh-huh.
I'm a core contributor of primarily Solidity development to the OneHive repos. I'm requesting Honey for a large portion of the development effort for the previous month. This work has included the deployment of Uniswap v2 to xDAI used in Honeyswap, and development and disputable Argon apps necessary for integration with Celeste and Argon Court, and development of the Celeste contracts." So this
Basically,
guy,
this guy has done a lot of the legwork of the community, right, to actually build stuff,
yeah,
including the thing that's driving the value of the Honey token itself currently,
that's correct. Yeah,
which is so he figured out. And I guess I don't know if he's like a big team member. This is the thing. I don't know, like who the fuck. There is no team.
I don't think there is a team.
There is no team. Like Honey's somebody or a team of people. Maybe it's this guy. They just minted Honey tokens, and they're developing the necessary governance protocols, like for voting and I guess for like disputes and stuff like that with the whole
Yeah.
Argon integration, right?
Yeah, think about it. It's like Decentraland, where they built out
Yeah.
this platform, and in the case of One Hive, they built out a governance platform for a token called Honey, and then people just come in and they build cool stuff like Honeyswap, and then they request payment for it.
Yeah, so it's just like reverse Decentraland in the sense that Decentraland was a vision, a project with a specific purpose and goal in mind, and they onboarded a community to support that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the DAO comes later. Like we're just now figuring out how to work our DAO. This community did it the other way around. They're figuring out how to get a community into a DAO first, and then what comes out of that, who the fuck knows what's
Yeah.
going to happen. And like, to me, that's fucking some mind ridiculously blowing shit. I can't even
Yeah, I agree.
imagine.
If I was Will Griff, I would have just forked Uniswap and then put it on xDAI and then created a token
Yeah. He could have
specifically
called it.
geared for that application
Yeah.
and put it out there, and that's it. And then have
He could have
developers,
called it Will Swap
yeah,
and
will
like,
swap.
yeah, call it a Will token, and he could have been like the next sushi guy. Like
Yeah, that's right.
everybody wants your token, bro. Like because you created this xDAI
Yeah,
Uniswap.
and then since it's an open source project, you have other developers come in and build bridges for all the tokens, and now you are a direct competitor to Uniswap in a much cheaper realm.
Crazy, but he didn't do that. So, which leads me to think that this guy must have like a close relation to the Honey. You know, like he must be one of the core founders or something.
It's
I'm
quite
guessing.
possible, yeah.
Because, dude, that's some diehard commitment right there to the Honey community. Like, you know what? I'm gonna do this clearly successful attempt at you know, bridging Uniswap to the layer two, and I'm not gonna like take the glory for it. I want the Honey ecosystem to
Mm-hmm.
thrive off of this.
Yeah,
And all he's asking for is like 40 Honey tokens for his hard work. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Which is actually a lot, right?
yeah. I mean,
It's
that's
like,
like 40 grand at least.
yeah, I guess in today's valuation, at like a, what's Honey at now? Like 1,500,
Yeah,
1,400?
1400.
Let's call it 50, 60 grand. So he's just looking for a nice little payout for all the work he did. And
Yeah,
I think he deserves it. If I were a Honey community member, I would definitely vote in your favor, sir.
yeah. As would I. That was a lot of work.
100%.
The fact that you
Yeah,
put it on xDAI proves that you can have a Uniswap without the gas fees.
correct. So this is interesting to me in many different ways. For one, this is how Decentraland governance is supposed to operate. Obviously there's been, because there's an actual fund at stake, a perpetual yearly annual development fund, according to the white paper of Decentraland.
Yeah,
So I'm expecting to see similar types of proposals like this coming through, you know, and it probably from us, to be honest. Like we're probably gonna pull a Will J Griff and be like, "Hey guys, we are core developers of this ecosystem. Here's what we've done up to this point.
right.
We want X amount of share of the developer pool, and we'll see what happens."
Yeah, I mean that's supposed to how governance is supposed to work, right?
I don't know.
I would think so. I mean, it's a bunch of proposals and people voting for you.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think Honeyswap it's interesting because of what you talked about earlier, that you started with the governance kind of platform and then you took that and you got people involved in a smart way, where there's a bunch of humans involved that you know for sure are humans and they're not a bunch of bots just collecting honeys, because then that token is
Yeah,
useless, right?
yeah.
So you took
So
that step, and then you had this gracious developer, William Griffith, and he
mhm.
built Honeyswap on xDAI.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now what does it mean for a honey token?
I mean,
It's tough. It's already done a 10x, if not 15x.
I know, but like, let's not even talk about that,
Let's not even talk about that.
dude. Hold on. Yeah, leave it on this page, dude. Let's talk about this. Is just the first thing we've seen out of the honey ecosystem.
Yeah,
Like who the fuck knows who's gonna figure all this out and believe in the concept and like also contribute their developer talents to this pool.
yeah,
You know, like who knows what's gonna be built next is all I'm saying. Like
right.
that to me is, I don't know, man. It tickles me like just in the right spot, dude. It's like I
Yeah.
don't know. It's pretty crazy, dude. But yeah,
Well,
from a purely speculative standpoint, though, I wouldn't endorse anybody getting in after like a 10 to 20x run up in a week.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. That's like what's tough about this is like, so first of all, there's only 24,000 tokens, right? So there's
Mhm.
that. Then, um, then the value of each token is almost at $1,500 within a week. And if you look at the original price, it started at a couple $100s,
Yeah.
right? And
I think I
so,
think it goes even further back than that. It was like 40, $50 at one point, you know.
oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, man. I think, man, this is a tough one, man, to call. Because there's
Yeah,
only,
because ultimately the thing I compare it to, for those of y'all around back in the day, this to me mostly resembles Ray blocks, which today is called Nano.
mm-hmm,
I remember they did a similar thing. Like they claimed like we're the scaling solution of the cryptocurrency world. We have these feeless peer-to-peer transactions. So they created their own exchange, I guess, to distribute their tokens, and that thing did like 1,000x on their own platform.
yeah,
And as soon as like centralized exchanges started onboarding that asset, the rebranded Nano onto their exchanges, that shit just dumped into oblivion. So I'm expecting this is the call I'm gonna make. I'm calling it now. I'm expecting Honey to have a similar Rayblocks type run up on their platform, this Honeyswap platform.
okay.
So we're probably gonna see like I'm gonna say this thing goes minimum to $500 million market cap minimum.
$500 million.
Yeah,
So that, what is that? 30. So a little bit over 10x from here. So that's over 100x altogether.
yeah, that's minimum. It depends on like how much of a craze this can generate, how much of a buzz like when do people start paying attention to this, and when does like the FOMO hit in? Like this is relatively low volume, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's actually extremely low volume, and the price is going up like this. Um, yeah, dude, the masses haven't hit yet. I think this is gonna do like a Ray Blocks type ridiculous run up, but I think eventually Uniswap's gonna come and crush it,
Yeah.
like they did to everything else, and it's
It'll
gonna it's
take some
gonna
time
correct from
though.
there.
It'll take some time though.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time, but in the meantime, it's gonna do this. I think Ray Blocks type ridiculous run up.
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, "What the fuck is Honey? Where did this come from? Why is everybody buying it?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
didn't I buy it?" You know what I mean? It it might even hit a billion. It might even hit 2 billion. Who knows?
Yeah.
It
Why
could.
not? Why not 10 billion, dude?
Nah, that's too much.
Yeah.
I'm drawing the line at two.
Yeah.
It can't go higher than two. But it's going to have the fattest sell off, and but that doesn't mean it's going to
but
go away.
but
It's still going to
why?
maintain some
Why
of that
is it?
network effect.
So hold on. So Honey is a governance token.
Yes.
Honeyswap is an application that is built on xDAI. It's Uniswap on xDAI. So
Yep.
those are almost mutually exclusive, other than the fact that they share the name and it was built for this community.
Uh huh.
So the reason why Honey would go up to $2 billion, like you're saying, is because of Honeyswap and nothing else.
Yeah. Nothing else.
And
But
and so they need to, like, I don't know, market that.
maybe they don't have to. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. To me, I'm more interested in the governance token. Actually, I'm more interested in the community this thing could potentially like galvanize.
Yeah,
Meaning like because it's like a legitimate like grassroots type approach. I don't know. Like it starts. I don't know, man. It's hard to explain, but I like it just because of the unpredictability of it. Like there's no way to know where this is heading.
yeah,
Like I know where Decentraland's heading,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah,
I know where any other DApp is heading because that vision is clearly stated from the beginning. Any DAO that's associated to those DApps,
right,
like whoever's participating in those DAOs, you kind of know what to do as a community.
for
But
sure.
this is like the world is your fucking oyster, dude. You could literally do anything. You can control the world at some point if you wanted to.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this has like Bitcoin type level um like potential, the honey. Like just the idea of like an actual like civilization, internet civilization starting from the ground up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's possible. And if I don't know, honey guys, if you watch this, I would love to get somebody on this podcast and talk to one of you guys for sure. I
Yeah,
want to know.
Will, if you want to come on the podcast so you can explain what you did here, sir,
Yeah.
we'd appreciate it.
Explain if I'm like, how do I join your cult? Basically, is what I want to know. I'm ready to jump in, dude.
Yeah.
I want to be a member, dude. Give me that white robe, dude. Give me the Kool-Aid. I'm ready to go, dude.
Yeah. Well, cool. I'm sure we know what they're gonna say. I was like, well, join Bright ID and verify yourself, right?
Yeah.
Which we tried to do that, but we missed the little window that we had there. But we'll definitely do it. We might even
like daily events, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, we'll catch another day.
Yeah.
No big deal.
So we've been recording for an hour and 15 minutes. Let's call it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So for next time we get together, let's talk about Akala. We kept mentioning before, but never would get around to it just because so many things happen and like things like Honey catch our eye. So we got to talk about them.
Yeah. True.
And hopefully we can cut some of these segments out and put them into individual videos so that we start kind of reaching out to people who are only interested in Honey or searching xDAI, and they get to see this content.
Very true.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll get working on that too.
Yeah. All right.
And also, follow our Twitters.
Yeah, make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner and at MetaZone.io, which is our application marketplace for Decentraland. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys.
We'll be back next week. Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.